She's now a wanted fugitive escaping the law. But Olesya Krivtsova was a teenager like any other. Olesya Krivtsova is now on Moscow's most wanted list, but enjoying the streets and the freedoms of the European Union. For the safety of those who helped her to get here, we've agreed not to give too much away about how she escaped.
No one expected that the case would grow so much that the resonance would be huge.
Krivtsova's social media was typical of her age, but some of her social posts criticizing the war in Ukraine were brought to the attention of authorities by fellow students, one of them distinguishing between snitching and patriotic denunciation.
The only difference is that in Stalin's time, people disappeared for good, and it wasn't clear where. Now, because of social media, almost the same thing is happening, except it's very public.
From the start, Krivtsova was made an example of. Most of the many hundreds prosecuted for anti-war activity in Russia have been charged with disseminating false information. Krivtsova was charged with terrorism instead.
Why are you so scary to them?
Because I'm not the first and I won't be the last. In the era of the information war between propaganda and reality, words can get through to someone. That is why the authorities are afraid, because words are the most terrible weapon.
Krivtsova had been on her way to meeting her husband for coffee when she was arrested for the second time. She was placed under house arrest on trumped-up charges, so in February, as she turned 20, she made her decision to go. Taking very little.
Do you regret the posts?
It's a difficult question. I lost a lot and went through a lot. My mother's tears faced with this situation. I lost my husband, grandfather, and grandmother. This is a huge price for anyone.
But Krivtsova would not be silenced, even as Big Brother watched. Orwell's quote tattooed above an image of Vladimir Putin as a spider.
I think it's now my daily job to discredit the Russian army, because the Russian army is committing crimes on the territory of Ukraine.
Tell me about this place, how it's been.
Yes, the stairwell looks very Russian because the building was constructed in the USSR. It's only my second day here. I haven't had a chance yet to tidy up my new place properly, or to get my bearings around the courtyard and the surrounding area.
But Krivtsova has already set up a new Instagram channel. A girl interrupted on her way to getting coffee, now in Lithuania, freer and intending to be louder than ever.
And Melissa Bell joins us now. The way the war has played out in social media is pretty extraordinary. Are you seeing more young people like her speaking out online?
We are, and it does tend to be the young, apparently, Anderson, that are speaking out the most loudly. Indeed, one of the human rights groups inside Russia that tracks these things, OVD Info, reckons that of the 6,000 Russians that have been accused so far of denigrating the Russian army, 2,000 of those relate to social media posts. And I think one of the most chilling things that you heard there is that in the end, she was denounced by her fellow students. It's a reminder, really, Anderson, of just how corrosive to wider society these kinds of laws can be. But she was really remarkable, determined to carry on. And what she explained is that essentially a second set of charges meant, trumped-up charges, meant that she would certainly be facing time in a penal colony. In many ways, she wasn't given much of a choice but to go. But determined, despite those harrowing last few months and the uncertainties she faces in the future, to continue making that voice heard, Anderson.